A lot of you who have been here before know that I am a poll worker. I want to tell you all that the early voting polls in Hillsborough County are open now. They have been open since Monday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at all 4 of the Supervisor of Elections offices and another 22 libraries, mostly libraries, around the county. You can get the address of one closest to you, or when you drive by and you see those Vote Here signs at votehillsborough.gov. It used to be votehillsborough.org. I'm trying to be quiet that it's .gov right now. So 10 to 6 through every day, including Saturday and Sunday, through the 21st of August. And then the election day is the 23rd, at which you have to go to your precinct. In early voting, you don't have to go to your precinct because your precinct generally won't be open. Go to one of the libraries or one of the offices, okay? Now, since there have been so many of you here today, I imagine there will be lots of questions. So I am quickly going to introduce to you today the 2 people who are going to talk to us about a comprehensive plan. Melissa Dickens, sorry.
There's a lot of Melissas at the Planning Commission. It's okay.
From the Planning Commission, and Stephen Benson from the City of Tampa. Here they are.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. It's so great to be here. It's great to see such a wonderful, engaged crowd. This is something that Stephen and I really want to do as part of this comprehensive plan update, is make sure we're talking to as many people in the community as possible. And this is always such a great group with good questions, good discussion. So thanks so much for being here. As you can see, there's 2 of us. This is definitely a team effort. And so before we get started, I want to recognize all the folks in the room that are working on this comp plan update, either from the city or the Planning Commission. So if you're a Planning Commission or city staff, if you could just raise your hand working on the comp plan update. There's a few. They're mostly in the back. Again, my name is Melissa Dickens. Quickly, the Planning Commission is a long-range independent planning agency. We do all of the comprehensive planning for all 4 jurisdictions in Hillsborough County. My role is to co-manage the Tampa Comprehensive Plan Update with Jennifer Malone in the back, our City of Tampa liaison. The Planning Commission is made up of citizen advisory members on our board, where we have a board that makes recommendations, and then the final comprehensive plan is approved and adopted by City Council. So one of the things that we do is we also make sure that we closely coordinate with our client government partners to make sure that the comprehensive plans are implementable. And so we've been working very closely with Stephen and his team.
Thanks, Melissa. So the City Planning Department at the City of Tampa was reestablished by Mayor Jane Castor in 2020 to be the city's internal long-range planning function. For many years, we went without a dedicated city planning group that could work with council, with the mayor's office, with the planning commission, to plan beyond the next term, to plan for the next generation. And that is what our role is in partnership with the planning commission.
Okay, so we're going to start out briefly with kind of a comprehensive planning 101. By a show of hands, who here is familiar with the comprehensive plan? Okay, that's a good familiarity. Okay, well great. Well, we'll just do a quick refresher. So there are a lot of different planning initiatives that are happening right now in the city by both the City of Tampa, by other groups and entities. And the comprehensive plan is kind of the overarching umbrella policy plan for all of those different planning initiatives. So it supports, directs, coordinates those different planning initiatives throughout the city. I like to say that if the comprehensive plan were a person, it would consider itself a career generalist, not really a specialist. It's sort of the Renaissance man of planning. I can keep going with this, by the way, for this analogy. It's very general in nature, it's very high level in nature, and it goes out until a specific time horizon in the future. The comprehensive plan contains different elements or sections. Probably the section that most of you are familiar with or see the most is our future land use section. That's what goes before council. That's what is discussed most frequently when there are new developments. There are also a number of other sections within the comprehensive plan that affect different aspects of day-to-day life within the city. So things like parks, we have a parks element, a solid waste element, potable water. So things that all types of different aspects of planning are contained within the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plans are required by state law. Every local government in Florida is required to have a comprehensive plan, and they are required to be updated every few years. So that's the topic of today is the comprehensive plan update. So I'm going to quickly just jump into the overall comprehensive plan update and what we're working on. So comprehensive planning has been around in the city of Tampa since the 1970s. I actually brought the original, thank you, Stephen, the original Horizon 2000 plan from 1975. So it's, we have a long tradition of comprehensive planning in our city. This will be the 6th update of the comprehensive plan in the city's history. The last time the comp plan was updated was in 2016. That was really an update that was focused on tweaks and quick fixes. And previously, it last went through a major holistic update back in 2008. So a lot has changed since 2008, which I know Stephen's going to touch on. One of the first steps that we wanted to do as part of this update is to look for ways that we could get community consensus on a long-range vision. So what does the community want to see in the year 2045? What do they want their city to look like? What do they want to have their neighborhoods look like? And we really wanted this to be a community-driven vision. We didn't want, we wanted the community to tell us what their vision was for the community rather than the planners telling the community what the vision is. So we worked very closely with the city to be out and about in different neighborhoods across Tampa, at neighborhood meetings, at CRA meetings, at different interest groups like the Downtown Partnership, the West Shore Alliance, and then also just out in the everyday community where people were at parks and libraries, trying to get as broad of feedback as possible. And we had a survey on different vision themes. We met with thousands of people, we reached thousands of people, met with hundreds, and got about 1,500 individual comments on the survey. So there was a lot of really good information there. People really had a lot of interesting ideas and thoughts about the future. We did read every single one, every single survey response. Shout out to the person who really wants the raise in Ybor and legalized marijuana, because they put that for every single survey response multiple times. But just to show, we did read them. If they're here, we would love to talk to you. But we really wanted to use that survey to look for areas of commonality, right? What were we hearing across survey responses? What did people want? And ultimately that crystallized into a vision with several vision themes. There's also a hard copy for folks at the table. The vision statement and the vision themes reflect things that probably you hear from your neighbors, you hear from your friends. Things like making sure there's affordable and accessible housing, making sure that there's different ways to get around the city, that the city is resilient. And so those topics are things that are really important to the community as a whole, and we want the vision to serve as the overarching framework. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stephen, and he's going to talk about different ways that the comprehensive plan is implemented. Thanks.
Great. So before we get into the implementation of the plan, I want everyone to do me a favor and close your eyes and think about what you were doing and what was going on in Tampa in the early 2000s. That would have been when we were updating the plan the first time. Think of all the changes that we've seen in our community since that point in time. Think of all the things that we maybe thought would happen that didn't happen, or all the things that we didn't think would happen that did happen. So it's our job right now to go through that exercise and try to predict what's going to happen in the future. And not just predict, but also put policies in place to try to make sure that we're prepared to address it. So some of those things, when I did this exercise myself, obviously the dramatic revitalization that's occurred in the downtown Tampa area since the early 2000s. There used to be very few people living in downtown Tampa, at least when I was growing up here. And now it's a bustling neighborhood. The Channel District did not exist in the early 2000s. That is a brand new neighborhood that's just come about. The Midtown development, obviously down at Del Mabry, Armature Works, all of these different changes in the community were things that were at one point contemplated by people like us in this room, thinking about what the future is going to be, and made their way into the comprehensive plan. So by 2045, our job is to figure out where we're going to put and how we're going to accommodate an additional 100,000 more residents, 75,000 more homes and apartments and places to live, and about 250,000 more jobs. Where are they going to be? What types are they going to be? And how, more importantly, are we going to accommodate them with infrastructure and with all the other things that we need to do to maintain the quality of life in our city? That is going to be the challenge that we have with this new plan update. Thinking about some other themes and topics that have changed that you'll see have been integrated into the vision statement and the vision themes. Equity and inclusivity. How can we maybe look at planning a little bit differently than we have in the past and use it as a tool to promote inclusion and equity across all different kinds of people and all different kinds of neighborhoods? How can we use the comprehensive plan to start to shift the focus of revitalization beyond just downtown and start looking at those neighborhoods outside of downtown that maybe feel like they haven't gotten enough planning or haven't gotten enough attention and focus? How can the comprehensive plan help us to do that? The changing nature of retail, Amazon. How are we going to plan for mixed-use development when everything that I buy these days gets delivered to my doorstep? I know a lot of you probably are the same. So these are all questions that we're going to have to be contending with the plan update. The hot topics right now have always been obviously transportation, but now even probably more importantly, housing and how those two items are related, and how we're planning for the growth and change that we expect to see in terms of housing and transportation on top of the challenges that we already have that we're all experiencing today. In addition to that, some of the themes that we also heard that we'll be incorporating are new mobility and smart mobility, leveraging technology instead of the way we've always done it with transportation, transit-oriented development, walkability, Uber, Lyft, e-scooters. Again, none of these things existed when we updated the plan the last time. And then also, smartphones. Now, pretty much everybody has access to a smartphone. How is technology and new technology going to evolve, and how should we be adjusting the way that we look at the future and plan for the future accordingly? So thinking about some other places, going back a little bit further, that were contemplated or reflected in the comprehensive plan, Hyde Park Village was contemplated in the comprehensive plan. The Seminole Heights Overlay District and Form-Based Code, some of the new development that you're seeing in Seminole Heights, is accounted for in the comprehensive plan. And then, of course, the West River redevelopment area and all of the growth in North Hyde Park is contemplated in the plan. So all examples of things that have happened and that similar things we'll be looking for in the new plan update. So how do we implement the plan? That kind of shifts more over to the city's responsibility from the Planning Commission, but the comprehensive plan sets the policy, and then it's up to us to figure out how we're going to implement it, and not just one policy at a time, but holistically. And it becomes especially challenging when you have to balance goals and objectives that reach across the entire plan. How do you balance preservation with growth? How do you balance preserving the natural environment with density and intensity and new development? It's a huge challenge, but the vision and the vision statement and the themes will help us to drive and make some of those decisions about what those trade-offs might be and maybe should be. The policies influence, as Melissa alluded to, everything in your day-to-day life. So even issues such as Tampa's very, very progressive tree code, tree preservation ordinance that's been in place since, I think going back to probably the 1970s, is supported by policies in the comprehensive plan. Even sidewalks, where we put sidewalks, why we put sidewalks in. And then the last thing I'll leave you on is that we are currently in the process of making the largest capital investment in the city's infrastructure through the PIPES program. Again, keeping up with growth and development and making sure that infrastructure is stable and can support the population today, but also the population in the future, is supported through policies in the comprehensive plan. So even all the construction you're seeing in the community as a result of the PIPES project and replacing wastewater, water, and stormwater facilities are all supported through comprehensive planning. And so that just gives you a sense of the broad nature of the plan, the broad task that we have. And so I'm going to pass it over to Melissa now to talk about next steps in the update and how you can be more involved and help us to chart the vision for the future.
Thanks so much, Stephen. We just got through the first initial visioning process with the city. So that was approved by the vision that the community gave us, was approved by council last month. So now we're moving into the specific sections and the specific elements. Because we really want to do a deep dive and a holistic look at each of the sections, we're going to be updating the comprehensive plan in phases. The full list of everything that we're working on right now and the schedule is available at livegrowththrive2045.com. We also have a QR code here if you would prefer to access it that way. That's the place where you can sign up for meetings, where you can sign up for our email list, you can see what's coming, see what's happening. On deck, the first section of the plan that we're going to be working on is the water section. We're going to start doing community outreach at the end of this month, so we hope you'll join us to share your ideas on how we can look holistically at potable water, wastewater, stormwater, look at all of those aspects of planning. Then we're also, we have hired a consultant to look at our future land use section. So that is something that we know is really important to the neighborhoods and the community. That future land use assessment, we're going to be having a public outreach and engagement meeting on September 19th. Again, this information and how to register is on our website, livegrowththrive2045.com. But we really want to continue to hear from the community throughout the process. You know, the vision was the first phase of engagement. We got a lot of great comments. We want to keep that going, and we want to make sure that we continue to hear from everyone as we move forward on the update. And I think that's it for questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Ron.
Back away.